Hey. It is Friday, April 4th, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Right here on the West Coast, I am Brannon Beliso. This is Success Never Sleeps, where we as a collective of martial arts school owners, small businesses, just trying to negotiate this space, figure out this thing called life. And of course, we want to have successful businesses that work for us versus simply creating a job for ourselves and being terrible bosses. You with me? So let's begin by thanking our sponsors. We have Tucson Market Muscles, My Studio, Kids Love Life Skills, LC Accounting, and Kin Creative. All services I work with, all people that I do business with and have personal relationships with, so I recommend them highly. They've impacted my lives and my businesses tremendously, and they're a big part of our success. What do we got coming up? It's Time Life Freedom, November 8th through 11th, right here in San Francisco, actually Millbrae, California, 5 minutes from SFO. We spend 4 days intensively. I would call it a pilgrimage. I would call it a retreat. It's so much more than a martial arts event for small martial arts schools, for businesses trying to figure that out. So much more. It's our 9th year. This one appropriately titled, It's Time Life Freedom. I want to help you create that freedom for yourself, to spend time with your family, to go where you want, do what you want, teach when you want. That's really what owning a business is about. That's truly what entrepreneurship is about. So only 20 school owners. Put the link in there for everybody, Marco, and you want to get signed up for that. It's time group mentoring. We just got off our weekly call, and I'm grateful to see the impact we're having. School owner had net 20 in 1 month. 20 and net 17 minus the 3 that they lost. I'm very proud of the work we're doing. We are school owners. We are in the trenches like you on a daily basis. We understand. We get you. And I think that's what's unique about it. We're always a phone call away, a text away. And the work that we do for people is just phenomenal. Again, it's unlike anything. We are not consultants. We are mentors. And look at the definition. A consultant comes in and solves a singular problem. They're contracted in and out. A mentor is with you for the long haul. They're always there so they see what your business looks like 3 years, 5 years, 10 years down the line, and they're always helping you create your version of success. That is the difference. That's why I believe mentoring is so much more powerful than being a consultant. For what you need as a business, as a martial arts school owner, mentoring is definitely the way to go. The link is there for that as well. Check it out. So, crazy world we're in, right? Crazy. Stock market in the past 2 days has sunk lower, than the pandemic. Since the pandemic. And I know people are really freaked out and they're afraid right now, right? But the difference is it's not a pandemic. That's the first thing I'm going to share with you. Maya just posted that across the board, they're hearing people are having a difficult first quarter. Well, we just got off with our mentoring clients who will tell you, no, we're having a great first quarter. For us, our San Francisco location had a great first quarter. Millbrae, not so much. And that's only because camps aren't booking. Our program dollar is still pretty much the same as it was in 2024 for the most part, but it really is, the camps aren't booking as of yet. So I think it's a pretty mixed bag. Power of suggestion would lead us to believe, looking at the stock market and everything right now, that we're headed for some tough times. But that means you need to focus on what you can control versus what you can't control. So for everybody coming aboard, Conrad's there. Who else is there? Bob Poole is there. Hey, Bob, what's happening? As you come aboard, say hello. Tell me where you're tuning in from. I would appreciate you very, very much if you can do that for me, okay? Cool. Post it up there as we go along. And so I don't think, we should be panicking. But I think, like anything, if winter's around the corner, I'm pulling out my winter coat. It's the same thing here. If we believe we're going to have some challenging times like we did during the pandemic, I want to really focus on what I can do versus what I can't do. So before we get into the ultimate classroom visit, I just want to create that mindset for you. Number one, when you wake up every morning, I want you to count your blessings. Be grateful for what you have versus what you don't have, right? Look at what you have and build upon that. Because if I look at my portfolio every day right now with the way the stock market's been, man, I'm probably going to want to lose my mind. But I'm a long-term investor. I'm not going to touch it. I went through this in the pandemic. I went through this in the mortgage crisis. I've seen this. It's not a big deal. It's going to happen as long as you don't bail on it. you're not going to take a loss. Okay. So please be mindful of that. Be very, very mindful of that. Had a big conversation with somebody about Tesla, and we were whining about our Tesla stock. But I said, you need to know Tesla is not just a car. Tesla is batteries. Tesla is solar panels. Tesla is, this autonomous driving car. Tesla is the robot they're creating, right? There's a lot more to Tesla than this car that people seem to be fixating on because it's always been the moniker, right? It's always been the spokesperson. The majority of people think of Tesla, they think of a car, right? So I think long-term Tesla is going to be fine. It will, right? So again, looking at all these different things, I really want to fixate on what I can control versus what I can't control. And if you followed me during the pandemic, what did I say? Virtual is what we got. Oh, no one's going to learn martial arts virtually. You're missing the boat. This is what we've been handed. So how do we deal this hand? And you saw me. I went hardcore into virtual. Did 1.2 million virtually in 1 year. Crazy, right? But it's not, because I'm a very proactive person. And when life gives me lemons, I make lemonade. So stay close to me, lean into me during these months, and I promise I'll try to help you figure it out. Cool? Cool, 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 cool. So, what are we talking about? The ultimate classroom visit, right? The ultimate classroom visit. I didn't do a good job last week. I was running around Vegas, I think, or the airport. Who knows? Where was I, Marco? Was I in the airport? People thought I was some crazy man trying to do a show. But I wanted to serve you. And to put it bluntly, I served you half ass. I didn't do a good job. So, I decided take two, right? Take two, as we say, do over. Do over. It's a do over. So when we talk about the ultimate classroom business, the first thing I want to do is create a mindset. So come with me, if you will, right? Showing up in August in your uniform with a box of donuts when they're doing lesson plans and the teacher, planning day and saying, hey, I know you're working hard on your class syllabuses, getting ready for the school year. I thought I'd bring you lunch or bring you these donuts. You're done. They know why you're there. That's an oldest trick in the book. They know it. Stop it now, and stop it now. Everybody with me? Stop it. Stop it. And if you want to stand in line for PE teacher of the day, sure, that line is long. And every time I've gone to check out those things, there's always somebody there who's been doing it for a decade, 15 years. They've got it locked in. And there's a line of other school owners waiting to go in and do the same thing, right? PE teacher of the day. Go for it. You want to do a big assembly because they just want to have some lip service and tell the parents that, we're doing this for the kids. So we're going to do a bully confidence building workshop. I don't want that. Why? Because if I've got an auditorium filled with kindergartners all the way through fifth grade, I'm very ineffective. Because the way I would speak to a fifth grader about bullying is totally different than how I would speak to a kindergartner. It's just like our curriculum, our martial arts curriculum. We don't mix kindergarten kids with fifth graders. And most elementary schools, it's kindergarten through fifth grade, right? It is. It's kindergarten through fifth grade. So eliminate that one. Looks good at social media. Feeds the ego when I can put my camera like this with 300 kids behind me. I'm at so and so elementary, but the fact of the matter is you're ineffective. It's useless to do that. Who can put that in the comments, take ownership, and agree with me that right now? Right now, right now. That's why I don't encourage you to constantly post pictures of classes that are packed, because the parents are going to look at that and go, wow, that's really crowded. I don't want to bring my kid there, right? It is. We're in the process right now of adding more excellent kids classes. That's my pre-K and kinder parenting class, right? Full parent participation. It's taken off in our schools. We had a trial last Saturday before I went to Vegas. And the guy said, I love it, but this is too crowded. I need something smaller. And my answer was, well, we're in the process of adding another class. Would you like 8:30? Or he said, well, yeah, 8:30 would be really good. Again, we've already seen the writing on the wall and we need to add more classes. So I always want to be mindful of that. Hey, Michael, what's happening, man? Can you post what Michael's saying there? I was listening to a massive like in Tacoma family classes. How do you feel about that? I think anything's worth trying, Michael. I think, the goal of entrepreneurship, of owning your own business, is you have the ability to try things. Some of the family classes work really well in Taekwondo communities, but I think the challenge is this. For us, anyways, we tried the family class and it'd be like this. We could do the warm up together, the stretching, and maybe some real fundamental basics. But then we went like this. Adults went over here, kids went over here. And it was a whole different vibe, right? Do I think it's impossible? No. No. Do I want to be an adult taking martial arts with a bunch of kids? No. I would be billed as a family class. It would be structured as a family class. I would make sure that they interact the whole 40, 45 minutes. With our pre-K, kinder, and parenting class, I would have never thought to have done it the way we do it now. It came out of the pandemic, Michael, and in the pandemic, I couldn't get 4-year-olds at Zoom. It was that simple. I could not get 4-year-olds at Zoom. Okay? So I knew the parents were shelter in place. So we created this thing out of situation. I thought it would die once the pandemic ended. We went out into the farmer's market and a library parking lot. It got bigger. We brought it back into the school. It got bigger. So it's never died. And as long as you really build things as, here's a unique opportunity to connect with your child and stay fit while learning valuable life skills, that your family can embrace. See, that kind of storytelling, Michael, is brilliant, right? Because there's not a lot of quality things for parents to do with their kids. I take my kids to their basketball private. I stand on the side like this with my cell phone, right? So again, telling stories like that and changing the narrative is powerful. Now, we have that parent that will refuse to get on the mat. That's not your parent. It's really not. But again, I'm not taking that angle of feeding their insecurity, Michael, of, we know you don't want to get into class with your kid, but try this. No, we really want to sell the magic in a story that this is the best thing, next to going to Disneyland. And with the way things are looking economically, where people are being a little more conservative right now with their spending because eggs are so much and they don't know what's going to happen with the stock market dropping and all the rest, why not sell that, right? I know you want to be very careful right now with your spending. So that might mean staycations this summer instead of that family trip you've been planning. Well, guess what? You can have a family vacation every day in our Taekwondo family classes. Well, whatever, Michael, right? Can you see that? And that's just off the cuff. If you really think about it, Michael, we could probably do a lot more with that. So I say thumbs up on the family classes. Anything's worth a try. What's the second comment Michael added? He's had a couple of comments there. The reason I'm asking, a lot of time parents want to take classes with their children, but they don't want to take separate classes. I thought, yeah, absolutely. If I can kill two birds with one stone, Michael, all day long. But again, I think it's really about designing a lesson plan where they can go from belt to belt together, right? Where they can drill together. Kind of hard for a little kid to hold a pad for a parent, probably kick the crap out of the kid holding a clapper, right? But how about I say it's a simple front kick drill? The parent holds the pad for the kid. He kicks it, right? Here's a great example. You got a line of wave masters behind you. Stay with me now. And we have a drill. Okay, family drill. Which family can do 10 kicks first? I hold the pad here. The kid kicks it. I turn around. I kick the bag. I come back. My kid kicks the pad. I turn this way. I kick the wave master. I turn that. You see that little drill? That's a drill that allows me as an adult to get the most experience out of it. And it still allows me to interact with my child. Can you see that drill? Write down that drill. I think it's brilliant. It's a brilliant drill. Why not family push-ups, right? Where they down, up, high five each other, down, up, high five each other. I think that's something. The goal is to create curriculum where they both feel challenged. They both can interact, but the kid's not overwhelmed and the adult's not bored. That's probably the hardest part about that, Michael. The hardest part, right? Because the learning experience is totally different for the two, but because the family is the connection in that environment, how can I connect the dots there? Knowing that this adult wants fitness, managing their stress, and they want to feel like they can protect their family. The kid needs focus, confidence, discipline, life skills, bully, fitness, all that. How can I make the two meet in the middle, Michael? That's what I think is really the challenge. And if you can solve that, and write a class plan and drills that are appropriate, like the one I just, basically brought out of thin air, I think the potential's there, sir. Absolutely. Absolutely. What's the next comment from Michael? Did I miss one? Or was that all three of them? Voice text. I was listening to a conversation how you talked about family classes that That wasn't meant. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think family classes can be brilliant, sir. They really, really can. Kill two birds with one stone. And if you do offer family discounts, what a good day. Everybody wins, right? Everybody wins in that situation. I think it's a great idea, sir. Again, pre-framing it, planning it, lesson plans, covering those things that I talked about to keep both parties really engaged is really the secret to that. So we're not going to show up to the class on teacher development day in a uniform with donuts. We're not going to stand in the long, long line of what? Everybody wanting to be PTE teacher of the day. And I refuse to do a mass thing in the auditorium with the entire school. Okay. So we took those three off the table. So now what are we left with? Well, a number of things. When we do the ultimate classroom visit, we go from class to class to class. I think in the morning at one school, we did like 3 kindergarten classes. In the afternoon, we did a couple of first grade classes. And we came back the next day and did second grade, then third, then fourth, then fifth. And we treated it separately so we can really, cultivate this experience that is unique to that age group. 2, the teacher sits there and has, 20, 30 minutes off. They love it. They love it. They love it. You're not impinging upon their classroom time. They're happy to chill out for 30 minutes and be paid. Right? And if every reference you have in this ultimate class talk is something as basic as focus, which means to pay attention, right? Wow, look at little Mary looking at me when I'm talking. That's awesome. I focus, ma'am. Make sure to look at your teacher when she's teaching you. Oh, teacher's going, thank you. Thank you very much, right? Because every example we cultivate in our life skills is at school and at home. Everything else is extra credit. I'm a parent. I want my kid to do well at school. I want them to do well at home. That's where I see them 90% of the time, at school and at home. So when you're coming up with examples for a life skill that you're teaching, whether it's incorporating it with a front kick or push-ups or whatever that you're doing, a self-defense technique, be mindful of that. The examples I want to use is at home and at school. I wouldn't be teaching a block to a kid saying, and when that bully's trying to break your face and you got to block this way, I've been saying, wow, use real great focus by blocking that, overhand right. Something more value. I like how you're blocking fast right away when I call it out. That's good ear focus. Make sure you listen to your teachers when they teach you. So to being able to tie in the life skills component is really, really important for any ultimate classroom visit. Any ultimate classroom visit, because I did all my research. Me and ChatGPT went down the rabbit hole one night and I asked them, what does a mom with a 6-year-old in Somalia want for a kid? What does a mom in New Hampshire with an 8-year-old want for a kid? An extracurricular activity. 4 things: safety, support, fitness, life skills. Consistent across the board. Write it down. Safety, supported, fitness, and life skills. And the life skills, I think, is what separates us from our main competitor. Soccer, baseball, swimming, dance, cheer, right? We teach life skills supposedly better than anybody, right? And if you need life skills, go to kidslovelifeskills.com. Great program. We just relaunched it in a subscription base. I think you'll be really, really happy with it. Or reach out to Marco Mazzola and you can DM and have a conversation about it. So here's the big other challenge. A lot of people think when we come into these schools, because we're martial artists, we teach violence. We teach violence. Now, every school talk I do involves some type of kicking and punching at some point, but it's never done without the reinforcement. Today, we kick and punch these pads, right? Yes, sir. We broke this board. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Great. When you kick this pad or you break this board, does anybody get hurt? No, they do not. So we need to know that kicking and punching people is wrong. Hitting people is wrong. Shoving people is wrong. Because in the martial arts, we don't teach you to hurt people. We teach you to defend yourself. And the teacher's going, and we might even reinforce that in the handout that goes home with the child. Thank you for allowing us to come in today and be, teacher of the day in so-and-so elementary kindergarten class. Please be mindful, parents, as we reinforced in our presentation, that in the martial arts, we teach you that hitting is wrong, fighting is wrong. We teach self-defense. So again, if you can put that in the handout, it's going to resonate with people again on a higher level. You with me? Who's with me? And as you're coming aboard, say hello, tell me you're here, you're listening to all this really good stuff. Now, so we took the violence. So when you do your one-off in your email, the handout you attach as a PDF to the facilitator at the school, the principal, whatever. Please stress that. Please stress that. In all our workshops, we let the kids know that fighting is wrong, hitting is wrong, kicking people is wrong, bullying is wrong. We are huge advocates, right, to promote that. Really emphasize that. If you can let that be your lead-in in your email or when you're talking directly with the principal, please address the elephant in the room, as one would say. So we remove that obstacle, okay? So one of the things I did that really helped a lot for us is I wrote a book called The Adventures of Bray and Tay, and it's called Focus. So the book teaches kids how to pay attention. And there's some martial arts references in there as well. Now, everybody wants reader of the day. Every elementary school wants reader of the day. Every preschool wants reader of the day. You sit with the kids in circle time and you read this book to them. You read this book on focus to them. After that, you stand up, do a couple of focus drills. They all earn the focus life skills badge, right? They all break a board. That goes home with them, and they have a handout. I know one guy that actually gives a book to every one of the kids, and he stamps in the book, "Thank you for allowing us to speak today. To learn more about our school, scan this QR code." I think that's a good day. He gives one of the books to the library. Reader of the Day is one of the most asked for services in any elementary school. And again, I would never show up in my uniform. I would show up in a branded One Martial Arts t-shirt, or a hoodie with black pants and black tennis shoes, but I wouldn't show up there in my uniform. Not at all. Not ever, not ever, ever. Because again, that myth that you kick people and punch people resonates harder when you're in a uniform. A lot harder, right? To show that you genuinely want to just serve the community and be a part of it is very powerful. Very powerful. So reader of the day is another big one that I do. Now, when we're in this classroom and we're working with a specific age group, we try to focus on 4 life skills: focus, teamwork, confidence, and respect. Okay? We like to begin with respect, because respect is treating people the way you want to be treated. How do you want to be treated? Well. So how do you treat people? Well. Now, Marco has the doc for the ultimate classroom visit. We'll be happy to give it to everybody that's attending the show today. Okay? The ultimate classroom visit. We can get that doc to you. Just DM Marco here, put it in the chat that you want this doc, and we'll send it to you. Cool? And for everybody else coming aboard, say hello. Tell me where you are tuning in from. So we begin with focus. And we have everybody in a circle. We begin with respect, I should say. And we say respect begins with self-respect. So you got to respect your body by exercising and eating healthy. All right, let's run in place. Let's do some jumping jacks. Let's do some push-ups. Even if they're half-baked for a first grader or kindergartner, that's okay. Then you just do a plank and hold it. And we adjust those. But why do I always start with the warm-up like that, with a life skill? Because again, it's low-hanging fruit. They don't kick, they don't punch. They run every day. They probably do some sort of, fitness. So by leading into something very familiar that everybody as a group can do is powerful. And that carries right on into your warm-ups in your classes, right? I know my jiu-jitsu friends do a lot of different types of warm-ups. Kids are kids, right? When I'm cutting a piece for Kin Creative, we need the fitness element. I tell them, don't show me somebody shrimping across the floor. That is not fitness to a mom with a 7-year-old kid. Push up, yes. Jumping jack, yes. Because in the eye's mind, if I see a push up or a jumping jack, do I associate that to a cooking class? No, I associate it to fitness. So in this ultimate classroom visit, the first we do is fitness. Now, it's tied into respect and respecting your body by exercising, but it's still beginning with fitness. Low barrier of entry. Everybody feels successful. It's a good day. Cool? All right. Then after we do respect, we look for 2 or 3 kids that are really respecting their body and trying hard, and we award them a respect badge right on the spot. Peel, stick it, boom, on their t-shirt or their clothing. Imagine when they go home and they have badges on that say respect and focus and confidence. Is that a good day? That's a very good day. Mom goes, "Wow, where did you get that respect badge?" "Well, we had this guy from One Martial Arts today, and he taught us about respect and confidence and teamwork." You know what he said about teamwork? Teamwork is working together. My best team's my family. Oh, really? And it's playing over in mom's mind. I never heard this in soccer, basketball, t-ball, dance, anything. I want to learn more. Because remember, as we serve this classroom, we're trying to create emotional connections. If you can create an emotional connection with this parent, guess what? They might make the buying decision to take a trial at your school. Now, the reason all these little gimmicks are thrown into place because the parent doesn't see the actual classroom visit, but the parent will see when the kid goes home, focus badge, confidence badge. They'll have a broken board. Maybe you will stamp on that board your school with a QR code, right, for a free trial class. They also have a handout. This handout will be one for focus or teamwork. On the back, there'll be a coloring sheet. And the corner will say, thank you for allowing one martial arts to be, for this classroom visit today. For more information, scan this QR code. Some type of CTA. You with me? That's important. Please don't forget that. And people would say, man, that's a lot of money to invest in. No, it's not. If I got one student out of that classroom and they stayed to black belt, that's tens of thousands of dollars. That's how I see it. Because, write this down. Stay with me. Who's that? Alvin. Alvin. What's up, Alvin? Good to see you here. Alvin, I would love to meet you one day, sir. Alvin, I'm going to tell you. Can I take a break really quick? Alvin is like one of the people that have followed me the most at social media. He always likes my stuff. He doesn't make a whole lot of comments, but I know Alvin has seen it. And I will be honest with you, Alvin, you're one of my great motivators. I look forward to going through my feeds like this at social media. Let me see. Let me test my theory. I can go in right now and look. I have Andre Davis today. But if I scroll down here, I'm going to see Alvin Myers. And I thank you for that, Alvin. Just want you to know that, sir. Cool. And what's Alvin's school? I think I looked it up one time. Shayado. Is that Japanese? That must be a Japanese art, right? Cool. Cool. So again, when you talk about the ROI, I don't want leads. I don't want trials. I don't want students. I want relationships. So I'm willing to forego the fluff, the scarcity, only 10 spots left. I'm willing to forego the 1999. I'm willing to forego you only have 72 hours. I really want to invest in a relationship. Now, I might get fewer leads, but I'll get better leads. Right? It's my goal is to have a better investment. So going into a classroom like that and just giving value and more value is really what we're trying to do, right? I'm not there to solicit martial arts classes. I'm there to impact those kids' lives. But the byproduct is that kid's going home with things like that focus badge, the handout, a broken board, things that they won't normally, get. So it adds a lot of value so the kid can bring pride home to the parent. You with me? Okay, so that's respect is the fitness part. Low hanging fruit. Everybody can run in place. Everybody can do some type of jumping jack, some type of push up, jump squat, hill climber, whatever you do. Next one is focus. Now, the big part with that for us is we make sure that we do the focus life talk. So I know you're out there, so play along. Can everybody say focus, sir? Focus, sir. And focus means to pay attention. What does focus mean? To pay attention. Thank you. Everybody use your fingers. So when you pay attention, you want to look with your, thank you for saying eyes. Listen with your ears. Very good. Think with your brain and do the right thing with your body. So when your teachers are teaching you, look at them with your eyes. When your parents are talking to you, listen to them with your ears. Thank you. When you're doing your ABCs and your 1, 2, 3s, think about what you're doing with your mind. And if I'm standing up tall right now, listening to the teacher talk, I do the right thing with my body. Thank you. That's it. Then we go into some fun focus games. Number 1 is Mr. Stick. And that's the one where you have the padded stick, right, that we all use in the martial arts. Everybody duck. You go around the circle. Do that a couple of times, show them how to duck. Then we do jump. Everybody jumps. Then we put it together. We're going to duck and we're going to jump. Duck, jump. And that's such a fun game. It's a standard one. We've done it in our classrooms. It's been around the industry for a long time. Huge impact. Huge impact. Then we get them in a horse stance, pull their hands back, and they do a basic punch. Who has good ear focus can punch right away? Punch. Boom. Oh, look at little Johnny. He punched right away. That's awesome ear focus. Make sure you do things right away when your teacher asks you to. Teacher's sitting there going, when can I have this guy back? When can I have him back? I might even peel and stick a focus bat on Johnny to inspire the rest of the kids to perform at a higher level. You with me? Then I'll take out the clappers, go around the circle, punch, 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 punch. I love using the clappers, even though I'm not a Taekwondo guy, because they make such a sweet sound. They just do. So that covers focus. Okay? Fun game. Next one is teamwork. Teamwork means working together. Who's your best team? Your family. Awesome. But we have more teams than that. How about at school? Who's your best team? My teacher and classmates. Awesome. Really, really cool. Boom. And then we'll do a teamwork drill, like Simon says. Okay, a great teammate is a great listener. Who could be a great teammate to me and do what I ask you to do right away? Ready, everybody, punch. Awesome. Punch. Good. Pumpkin. Are you listening, being a good teammate? Try it again. Pickle. And then we do that with the punch, right? Again, a great teammate listens. Now, here's a unique opportunity to highlight and spotlight. On a great team, sometimes people lead and sometimes you're a follower. I'm looking for a leader. Everybody raises their hand. Who wants to lead the class? I say anybody can raise your hand. Who could show me by the example? Boom, they all stand up tall. Okay, coming up here, Johnny, you're going to lead this class, okay? And when you say punch, everybody's got to punch with you. And so then we call a couple of leaders and we're developing that leadership component, awarding a couple of teamwork badges. You guys writing all this stuff down? I hope you are, because Marco will put it up and you can listen to it after and watch the show. Okay, the next one in line for me, one of my favorites of all, after focus and teamwork, of respect. We did focus, we did teamwork. Then we hit confidence. Confidence is the end all be all. Because we say, okay, everybody show me how we're going to stand with confidence. Because confidence means to believe in yourself. Awesome. And you know how I learned to believe in myself? Okay, here's my example. How many of you can ride a bike? Boom, most of their hands go up. The first time you rode a bike, were you very good at it? No, me either. I was scared. I had no balance. I fell down. I scraped my knee. But you know how I can raise my hand confidently and say I can ride a bike? Because I learned to earn confidence. You never give up. You always do your best. And you love to work really, really hard. Great. So let's learn to stand with confidence. Feet together, stand up tall, hands on your side, chin up, looking right at me. Whoa, that's really cool. How do we stand with no confidence? Confidence? No confidence. Okay, now, who do you think a mean kid at school is going to pick on? You, who stands with confidence like this, looking strong, or somebody who walks around like this with their head down? And everybody's going to say the second kid. So everybody show me confidence. Whoa. And you know what? You just learned martial arts. Yeah. That's what's super cool about the martial arts, because we know fighting is wrong. So we're going to teach you this right now. Again, think about it. The bully's not going to pick on you with confidence, is he? If anything, he's going to want to be your friend. Boom. Again, in the classroom, we've dispelled the myth that we're about violence, we're about kicking and punching. But that is the first line of defense, isn't it? Appearing confident, right? Appearing confident. Then we teach them, put one foot back, put your hands up like this, right? Think of the crossing guard at school. What does this say? Stop. Because what do we need the bad kid to do? Stop. What else do we need the bad kid to do? Leave you alone. Good. And what are the consequences? I will tell the teacher. Great. So let's practice that together. Now we're covering bullying, right? Now we're covering bullying. And if you want to go as far as to say, hey, you want to keep your hands up so they can't touch your face, that's fine. But don't use words like hit, punch, kick, right? Try to stay away from that stuff. And if you can gamify it by adding in, okay, we're a tiger now, we're going to do tiger strikes, to gamify it, you help dumb that down a bit. That really, really, really helps, especially in all our classes, right? So now we say, stop, leave me alone, or I will tell the teacher. We all know that one. It's pretty standard. I'll be the bad guy. If I get too close to you, you put your foot back, put your hands up and say, stop, leave me alone, or I will tell the teacher. Say it with a confident voice. Stop, leave me alone, or I will tell the teacher. But also, whenever you're working with kids, whether it's your own classroom or in this ultimate classroom visit, show them what not to do. Do you guys think this is going to work really, really well? Stop. Leave me alone. I'll tell teacher. You think that's going to work? No, it's not. See, so you always want to show the yin and the yang. That's very important for kids because if they can have something to relate it to, they'll see why you want them to have a good, strong, confident voice and say, stop, leave me alone, or I'll tell the teacher. Great opportunity to spotlight and highlight people by having leaders lead in that one as well. And then we'll share. Whoever can get their hands up right away and say, stop, leave me alone, or I'll tell the teacher, you're going to get to break a board. Who wants to break a board? I do. Of course, they all have shoes on. They're going to kick this board. Nobody's going to get hurt. Their bones are soft. They are growing. You let them know. Then they end up kicking the pad. Everybody breaks a board. And then in your closing, you let them know. Today, we broke a board. We hit and punched the pads and kicked them. Does anybody get hurt? No. We understand that hitting people is wrong. Bullying people is wrong. And the martial arts, that's very important to us. So again, you always want to wrap it up by dispelling the myth that we're big on kicking and punching. Remember, their dads watch UFC, mom's catching John Wick. It's a whole different environment. If you watch the Cobra Kai series, everything was solved by fighting. Honor was earned by hitting the Todai, Tendai, whatever the heck that was. So again, violence and martial arts are synonymous. And I think the big part of what we need to learn statistically, 3% of the population is going to get into a fight. 3%. I'm very proud to say our students go on to Stanford, Cornell, UC Berkeley. That's the real world they're going to face 97% of the time. Now, do I still want them to be able to defend themselves? Yes. I'm going to make that the strict focal point of an elementary classroom visit? No way. No way. And even in our wipeout curriculum, we teach stop. Then we teach cover up. Then we teach back off, right? And those are just push hands to get them out of your space because this is your space. And that's even at white belt level. You want to be mindful. We're always reinforcing that we know in the martial arts, violence is wrong. Violence isn't the solution. Okay? So, and then, of course, I thank the teacher. They have broken boards. The kids have merit badges on them that say focus, confidence, teamwork, and respect. We have this handout we give them. One side is the student parent discovery sheet, right, which explains some of the life skills they learned today. The back side is an actual coloring sheet. So the teacher can burn another 30 minutes in class, letting these kids color confidence, focus, teamwork, and respect. Absolutely. And then all that value goes home with the child, plus a QR code in the corner for people to scan to learn more about your classes. Oh, yeah. All day, every day. Let's take some questions. What do you got for me? As you see, I'm very passionate about this. I've done these school talks for 20 plus years, and our angle and take is so much different. But again, if you're part of our disruptor group, that's what makes me me. I always go against the grain. I'm finding new and innovative ways. Cotton candy machine, that was me, right? I can't get a demo team together on Thursday. It's not happening. They're all in school, but I can sure sling cotton candy for your, bike safety day or your, back to school night. Any of that stuff can be done with a cotton candy machine. It's in more demand, way more than a demo team any day, any day, any day. Okay? So cool. What are your big takeaways? What are some of the questions you have? Hey, Virginia. What do you got for me, folks? What are your takeaways? What are your questions? Now, why am I giving this information today with the school year almost wrapping up? Because you should be like gangbusters right now. You should be really pushing, creating, creating relationships, planting seeds. Because come September, you're the only go-to. If I want to cold contact a school, what's the best way to do that? That's a great question, Conrad. Right? That's a great question. Now, you know how you do that? Find out. Okay, let me say this better. There are 3 ways to give back to the communities we serve. Number 1, money donations. 2, service donations. 3, our time. Now, the third one, our time, Conrad, is the low-hanging fruit. There's so many sources you can go to right now and volunteer your time to do e-waste on a Sunday, right? You're standing out there doing e-waste with PTA presidents, with families that are invested in the community, maybe even somebody from the school board. I share that story all the time, Conrad. I was at a football game and my kids don't play football. We were just there. And I look over at the snack bar because my wife is on the Mills Athletic Booster. And she's standing shoulder to shoulder, PTA president, school board member, just crazy. So you're organically hanging out with people, not selling martial arts, but giving back to the community. Because Conrad, nobody cares that what you know until they know that you care. And it is the reason it's so hard, Conrad. And this is a question I get asked all the time. If I want to, colds, listen to that word, cold contact. Well, that's because they know you want to sell your services. They know you want to promote your martial arts school in their school system, you and everybody else. So stop that angle. Don't take that angle. Look for ways for you to give back. E-waste is number one. Chaperoning school dances is another, right? You don't have to have a kid to do that. There's so many things. Crossing guard at school, right? The white zone at that school. There's so many things, different events where they need people to donate their time, their physical, setting up a crab feed or a spaghetti feed, serving food, right? I told you that story when me and my wife wore a one martial arts gear and she had me positioned where I served the food. Everybody at this event saw me, talked to me, interacted with me. You want red, you want white. You want red, you want white, right? In the pasta. And everyone, oh, you're that one martial arts guy. Great, wonderful. My wife sold raffle tickets to the silent auction. The two most heavy trafficked, people in this whole event, we were in those prime positions. Are you with me? Right? So again, subliminal marketing. I go to the Warriors game. It's called Chase Center. Chase Center gets announced. I have nothing to do with basketball, but it's the co-branding. It's the same thing here. When I did the one for the crossing guard that one morning, because my wife said somebody was sick, can you do the crossing guard at our daughter's school? And I said all day, every day. I wore one martial arts hoodie. I stood out there with stop signs. Somebody posted at social media later. Here is the owner of One Martial Arts taking time out of his busy day to keep our kids safe. You see, Conrad, there's no cold contact there. And that's why when you make that statement, put it back up there, Marco. Put it back up there. Okay, read that. If I want to cold, that's already a big bummer. Cold contact a school. What's the best way? There's no best way to cold contact because that's exactly what it is. It's cold contact. They know you want something. You and everybody else is cold contacting them. But not everybody else is willing to donate their physical time to do crossing guard, white, the white zone at school, all those different things I named, sir. And that's how we got in. We can walk into principals' offices now because we didn't walk in there with our hand out going, what's in it for me? This is what I need. I went in there and said, how can I serve? And I know it sounds really kumbaya for some people, but here's the result today. We sponsor Little League teams. Okay, stay with me now. And we sponsored a Little League team, and they're, our name's on all the banners, on all the different fields. It's on one team's uniform. We think we're getting exposure to about 5,000 people over the next couple months. But we don't finish there. We offer a celebratory party at the end of the baseball season for our team, siblings, families, everybody. And it's going to be a great party at our martial arts school. Just before the summer, will I be promoting day camp organically with different flyers around the school? Maybe a CTA, everybody on the baseball team, you sign up for camp today, we'll give you $50 off a week of camp. Boom, done. But don't put the cart before the horse. Other way around. Go in there to serve, Conrad, and it'll no longer be a cold contact. You with me? But do I systematically wear one martial arts gear when I do all these things? Cool. Did I kind of give you a disruptive take on that? Yeah. All right, let's see what Virginia has to say. I did just get invited to do guest gym teacher at a nearby elementary school in a couple of weeks. So that should be fun. Thinking I'll print stickers with our QR code to put on the kids. Any other ideas for that? I don't want the kid to be a walking billboard. Don't put a QR code on a sticker. Give them a focus badge. If I was a parent, that's going to spark a hell of a lot more curiosity than this QR code on my kids' clothing. And odds of it staying on there by the end of the day to when the kids picked up are slim to none. That's why I stopped doing stickers in my school a long, long time ago when it was really big in our industry, because I found half of those stickers under benches, stuck to things like that. Remember when we would give out stickers like Trader Joe's? But then I saw that you get stickers everywhere, freaking everywhere. I would go a little higher on that, Virginia. I would give out merit badges. Absolutely. Give out a coloring sheet with your QR code on the back. Something like that. Value, value, value. Student parent discovery sheet for focus. Backside coloring sheet in the corner. Courtesy of Journey Martial Arts. Scan this code for more information. Something like that, I would definitely do. I wouldn't just do a sticker by itself. You with me? You with me? Good, good, good. Yeah, yeah. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. As I shared, if I have the opportunity to be in an elementary classroom, you're going home with merit badges. You're going home with the board you broke. You're going home with, the student parent discovery sheet with these different life skills. And you have it in the corner, down a little in the corner, my QR code. Absolutely. But I'd supply so much value first that any bit of salesmanship is gone from the equation. Value, value, value. As we say in marketing, benefits, 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 right? Gary Vee says it, great marketer, jab, 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 cross. That's benefits, 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 sell. And the sell should be a soft sell. Let your program, let the culture of Journey sell itself. Yep, yep. Next question. Next takeaway, next question. Don't really have a question because I missed most of the show. But I'm current running around my school prepping stuff for our big egg hunt event on Saturday. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, we have our egg hunt coming up in a couple weeks. Conrad, thank you for that. Been engaging in community service. I never put it together as a conduit to get in front of students for volunteer time. I can see how community service builds trust, so the school trusts you to come in. And yeah, yeah. But if I go in there with my hand out all the time, Conrad, going, what's in it for me, right? In philosophical terms, we call that a scarcity mindset. I remember when I was broke, welfare food stamps as a kid. How do we keep the electricity on? How are we going to eat today? That survivalistic mentality is not appealing, is not a conduit, right, to get people to trust in you. Not at all, Conrad. Not at all. So I want to go in with that mindset of abundance, the law of attraction. If I go in there and just give of my time without asking for anything in return, ooh, the potential, I believe, is unlimited. I do, but I get it, right? I get it. The gung ho grinding people out there that sell, 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 and they want you to take more sales classes and to remove every obstacle. I don't want to remove obstacles. I want to create a pathway that if and when you're ready for martial arts, you're only going to come to me. You're only going to come to me. Why? You saw me as crossing guard. Why? Because you saw my family serving spaghetti at this fundraiser. Why? Because you look at the silent auction table and see, a free week of camp donated by One Martial Arts, a premium birthday party donated by One Martial Arts. You see all of those things. Then you go see cotton candy at something like a bike safety clinic that we do at the middle school. We're everywhere because you don't market one way, you market 70 ways to people, right? We're everywhere. So if and when you are ready for martial arts, you come to us, right? I didn't even mention you scroll through your feed, right? You just randomly look at your Facebook. One of our ads pop up courtesy of Kin Creative, right? Boom. Oh, there's their Facebook ad. I saw them today doing cotton candy at the bike safety thing. Oh, yeah, I saw that One martial arts logo. Oh, yeah, there was some guy out there doing crossing guard. Boom, boom, boom. Because if we understand they're not ready to buy people, why are we selling to them? Why? 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 That's why I admire those people in Costco from AT&T. I can't tell you how many of them I walked up to and I said, what you do is really hard. Because I know 90% of the people coming into Costco are like me. They're not here to buy or change our phone service to AT&T. We got to come in here, get our bottled water, get our supplies, and get the heck out. And you have to stand there and block me as I walk by and try to get me to change from my current carrier to AT&T. I admire you, sir. I admire you. So it's the same thing here when I'm running ads. I know they're not there to buy. So yeah, there's take a free trial on us, but everything's written to create an emotional connection, right? And if people trust you, Conrad, if and when they are ready for martial arts, they will come to you. Cool. Marco, what we got there? We get asked all the time to do the cotton candy at school events. We did one last month and has led to 2 more because the PTO runners know each other. Yeah. It's also leading to Reader of the Day bookings, and we're in talks for life skills events at the schools. Yeah, absolutely. Kids love life skills goes a long way if you use it right. You buy badges once every 3 months and buy 10 of them, forget it. Our number one client spends like $450 on merit badges, uses them at buddy days, uses them in booths, uses them at school talks, uses them at birthday parties, uses them all the time in classes. You must become that life skills educator. If you're going to spend all kinds of money on other things, why wouldn't you spend it on the number one reason why parents bring their kid to you? And that's life skills. They're not going to a soccer coach and say, teach my kid focus and discipline. They come to you and demand it. So you better teach it. You better teach it at a high level. And I'm always challenged when I have clients that do that. I look and they buy 10 badges every 3 months. You've missed the boat. You've so missed the boat on that. And I'm mindful of that because I do a lot of research. And like I shared, parents want safe, supported fitness and life skills. Those are the 4 things for a quality kids activity a mom looks for. And if you fulfill those 4 needs, better chance of retention, better chance of conversion, right? Not some slick AI generated ad that has nothing to do with your culture or brand. Nothing to do with your culture or brand. You with me? Cool. Cool. And I know, it requires you to be in it for the long game. The long game, like I said at the beginning of this broadcast, the stock market's in bad shape right now, the worst since the pandemic. But if you're in it for the long haul, it's all recovered. As we've learned in the pandemic, as we learned during the mortgage crisis, the market does recover. It's the same thing here, right? If you're not investing in your school constantly in big ways in the areas that are really a priority, then you're going to lose. And this ultimate classroom visit, it's really one of those roads, those pathways in. I'm a business. This community supports my business. I need to support this community. And I think that's what hurts people a lot. We had Chick-fil-A try to come into our community because they wanted to open a store, right? Figured no big deal. But what happened was the community said, you need to show us that you're more than just some other big franchise coming in here, right, to make money off us. You have to give back. And you know how they gave back? Sad. So sad. We have snack bars at our games, right, at Mills High School. They gave us Chick-fil-A sandwiches at $4 a piece and told us to sell them for $8. And they gave us 50 of them, right? And we had to sell them. And if we didn't sell them, we still had to pay them $4. What kind of crap is that? What is that? That is nothing for a big corporation like that, right? Nothing. Because if I can walk into Chick-fil-A, right, there's one down the road, I don't know how many miles away, and get it for $4 something, why am I going to pay you $8 for a Chick-fil-A at a basketball game? I'm not. I'm simply not. So again, stop stepping over a penny, right? A dollar to pick up a penny. That's the saying. Don't step over a dollar to pick up a penny, right? So it's the same thing here. If you want to be the go-to for the ultimate classroom visits, then you need to be out there in the community. And there will be no cold contacts, Conrad. None. But make sure you mine that data, sir. If you're out there doing some community event, know who the players are, right? My wife is brilliant. And when I saw her in that Mills Athletic Booster snack bar, I'm going, there's a superintendent of schools. There's a PTA president. Wow. I'm blowing my mind. But it doesn't. It doesn't blow my mind because it makes perfect sense. Because remember, all these people in position of power that have the yay or nay to wave their magic wand and let you in the door as Reader of the Day, PE Teacher of the Day, and all the rest, just a human being. They're just a human being. That's all they are. And if we recognize that, we don't put them into this position of power that's untouchable because they're a PTA president. They still get sad. The head of the Board of Education, still get sad, right? And if you look at it on a more humanistic level, the way in there is through the heart. And by giving back to your community, Reader of the Day is secondary. It really is. It really is. And it all happens magically. Cool? Cool. All right. So let's start wrapping up this big dog, Marco. So I want to thank all my sponsors. As always, to Saw, Market Muscles, My Studio, Kids Love Life Skills, LC Accounting, and Kid Creative. All services I use actively. I wouldn't allow them to be my sponsors. I wouldn't be announcing them unless I believed in what they do. Cool? What do we got coming up? It's Time Life Freedom. November 8th through 11th, only 20 school owners. We've done this for 9 years. We'll continue to do it, but only 20 people. Book it now. Spend the money now, right? Make the investment in yourself now. Spend 4 days with me. I say it's a pilgrimage. It's a retreat. It's much more than any martial arts learning event out there. Cool? Get booked for that. Marco will put the link for that in the comments. Of course, our mentoring program, which I've been very proud of. We've done really good work for people. As I share the difference between a mentor and a consultant. A consultant is hired to solve a problem. A mentor is in it for the long haul with you. Shares your vision of what you want your version of success to be day in and day out, year in and year out, 3 years, 5 years, 7 years. And in our team, we're there. We're always a phone call away. And I'm super proud of that. And we've done really good work as we begin to grow that. Cool? All right. So I hope from today's show, you realize it's so much more than being PE teacher of the day. It's definitely not dressing in your uniform and bringing donuts into the classroom while they're doing their lesson plans. It's not. The disruptive take on getting into doing this ultimate classroom visit, which I named for you step by step, from respect to focus to teamwork to confidence to the board breaking, the badges, the coloring sheets, everything, dispelling the myth that we teach violence, all of that, using references at school and at home to appeal to that teacher so she'll talk about it to the parents when the kids are picked up. All of those things psychologically are scripted out in a story to do what? Sell martial arts classes? No, not at all. It's to position yourself as a life skills educator. It is position yourself as a responsible martial arts school that teaches people violence is wrong, but self-defense is something totally different. It's to position yourself as somebody genuinely impacting the community and these children's lives, and with the understanding that if and when they're ready for martial arts, they will only seek you out and nobody else. Cool? All right. Thank you, Marco, for holding down the back end of this craziness as always. Folks, I am Brannon Beliso. This is Success Never Sleeps. Until we talk again. Oh, what are they supposed to do, Marco? Subscribe to my podcast, right? Success Never Sleeps at YouTube, all the major podcast platforms. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me at Instagram. Join our Disruptor group. For everything else, go to brandonbeliso.com. Until we talk again, what are you going to go out there and do? Live your best life.